The Music Retail Show.
All right, we're back for another episode. Man, Richard and I are just actually kind of hanging out.
Yes.
And we're just hanging out.
Yes. We're just hanging out.
Sometimes you have those days where it takes a little bit more energy to kind of get going in the morning.
Today's one of those days.
I know, I get it.
Yeah,
I understand.
I think what's going on is I just have a lot in my head, and I haven't given enough space to being in this room yet. So I've got to slowly condition myself to that because there's just a lot going on outside these four walls.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's consuming. I'm sure, a lot of times, people, they get up in the morning and they want to tackle the day, but sometimes emotionally or just even just physically,
got a workload.
You just got to work. You got to work to get going, and you got to kind of drag yourself up and kind of find some momentum somewhere. So I don't know, man. What do you try to do to try to get you out of those slumps sometimes?
Well, I didn't. When I woke up this morning, I didn't feel like I was in that slump. I mean, and we'll talk about this a little bit this morning. As I'm preparing for bow season, which it's a great time of the year for me, because it seems like there's a light switch that goes on when the humidity breaks, and we're here in the South, and it's really, really humid, as you know, and it just drains you.
Yeah.
But it seems like when the humidity goes down, there's a light switch that switches within me. So I got up this morning and got a few minutes on the elliptical machine. So I'm doing cardio stuff. And then I got out and I was shooting my bow this morning. So I'm primed and ready for kicking into the fall.
Yeah.
And in our case, the fourth quarter, and that's what we're going to be talking about. But so mentally, there's a lot that I'm working on today to set up and condition myself for the months ahead.
Well, and so, I'm just picturing you setting up your target in your backyard and shooting a bow, and do your neighbors kind of go, or is it too early, or your neighbors like, hey man, what you doing back there?
No, thankfully I butt up against a tree line that has a little creek, and actually my neighbor to the left side, he actually has a target in his backyard.
Does he really? Okay.
Yeah, so he shoots bow as well. So kind of interesting. When he moved in later than I did, and I had my target out there. That was one of the first things that he noticed. Is that we both, we're into bow hunting.
When does bow hunting start?
Third weekend of September.
Okay.
Yes.
And I have to admit, man, it's a completely different monster than rifle season.
Yeah. It's it is. A lot of people don't fully get into it. And for me, this is just me and my style. Is I never seem to take the easy way out.
Yeah.
And it's not because I want to be a martyr or be a victim or anything like that. I just enjoy doing things.
You're into it.
That's competitive. It's stuff that I have a muzzleloader, I have a gun, a rifle, and I can go out and I use them, and that's fun.
Yeah.
But what I look forward to is bow season, because more times than not, to be an effective bow hunter and say harvest an animal, I try very hard to be within 13 to 15 yards of a deer.
Okay. Which
now
takes
I can
a lot
shoot,
of work to get that close to a deer.
Now I can shoot a lot farther out, and my effective range is a lot further out. And I shoot to have really tight groups and be really ethical, but to take it a step further, I try to set up tree stands and to know where they're patterning and where they're coming from and what they're going to eat, what they're going to do, everything. I try to get into their head, and I feel very successful when I have deer around me at 13 to 15 yards.
Oh man, I can only imagine me out there shooting a bow. There'd be a deer with arrows sticking out of their butts.
Well, if you're lucky, you probably wouldn't hit them.
I probably wouldn't even hit them.
But it's really, for me, and when I go out, a lot of people think that it's all about going out and killing a deer. It's not.
Oh, there's a lot more.
I've killed a lot of animals and I'm past that. I take a lot of pictures of deer.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful time of year. In my case, the leaves are changing. It's cooling down. It's very, very therapeutic. So there's a lot of other elements. A lot of it is what I talked about. It's exercise. Yeah. In my case, cardio. I'm trying to increase cardio. So the elliptical machine, looking at it, it looks like it would be better to hang clothes on than actually use it. Yeah. But during bow season and coming into this fall, now I'm like, hey, I'm going to actually use it.
So coming to bow season, how long do you think it takes you to prepare, or when does your mind start thinking, I need to get ready for bow season?
That's a good question. I start thinking about it and I start ramping up at the end of the summer, like we're at right now. For me, I have property and I plant a lot of food plots, which means the work side of it is very drawn out. Now, the bow hunting side of it, it starts probably about now.
Yeah.
Hanging tree stands, getting everything ready, getting my equipment ready, washing my clothes in scent-free stuff. There's a lot of preparation, and it takes time.
Yeah.
Now, I've done it long enough to where I can kind of cram. It's like cramming for a test and get everything ready the night before and go out and be effective and have my stuff. But I don't. I really prepare my clothes, my tree stands, my bow. I inspect everything on that. It's a process for me because that's a lot of the fun, to be honest with you. Getting out there and sitting there and just being in nature is the reward. And when I see deer, I just love it. I do not have to ever kill another deer and enjoy deer hunting.
No, I totally get that. And actually, from knowing you and having lots of conversations, you're into your property and everything that you do. But you're cultivating food plots, doing stuff 6 months, 7 months ago, 6 months ago. Preparing ahead of time, so that you can have an effective season. I mean, I think you value getting, taking that time because you take it seriously. Mm-hmm. You take that extra time to be ready so that you can go out and you can have not only just an enjoyable, but a rewarding season. Yeah, rewarding, successful
Well, there's a
season.
lot in the pursuit. And there's, we're going to, when we're done with this, we're going to talk about business. Mm-hmm. And I think it's kind of the same. There's a pursuit there that there's a lot of us that have forgot about.
Yeah.
But with me, I plan. I'm a thinker. I'm constantly thinking ahead, not just about today, but ahead.
Yeah.
And not only is that in archery or my property, but it's also in business.
Yeah.
It was funny. I had a meeting, and here I'm segueing to business right now. But I had a meeting with a gentleman about a topic, and I was already talking about a year from today.
Yeah,
and I told him, I said, man, I'm not trying to get too far ahead. I just want you to have that vision to forecast that we're going to set up today, and then these are the 4 seasons that we're going to follow. So this time next year, this is what it looks like.
Yeah. So so let's just go there then. So what are what's the equivalent? Bow hunting season. It's almost like you have to constantly think about it around the entire year. There's different things you need to do, but then you ramp up at a certain time. Hey, we're coming up to the door of one of the busiest times of year for business and for music retail. So how can you equate the two?
Well, if I'm going to equate it in a hunting type thing, it's kind of like gun to or bow to gun season.
Okay.
So bow season, I practice not quite year round with my bow. Now I have for years. For years I shot year round. I don't as much anymore because I have other things going on, but I still enjoy it, but I'm always thinking in that direction. So I tell people the difference between bow and gun is when you see a deer at 200 yards with a gun, the hunt's over.
Yeah.
Now, why is that? Is because guns today can shoot that far, and you can be effective. effective. When I see a deer at 200 yards with a bow, the hunt just begins.
Yeah.
Now the process for the hunt to unravel. So there is a difference. And so music store to bow, what I would like to see our dealers or dealers in general is to be more with a bow hunting type mentality. So they're always planning, they're always thinking, they're always conditioning themselves. So I shoot a lot of arrows. Now, I don't shoot so much that it fatigues me and I have bad muscle memory, but I shoot so I have muscle memory, so I can do things without a lot of thought, and it's instinctive. So I want our dealers to constantly be thinking they're conditioning themselves year round. They're not just waiting till in not only in gun season but also in guitar. In the guitar world is Christmas time or the rut, where they get a gun and they go out there and it's easy, and I think there's been a lot of stores that have fallen into that, and I think a lot of us need to just back up a little bit and say, hey, the way I did it 10 years ago worked out pretty good. It's different today because everything has changed, but there's a lot of similarities that we've forgotten.
Yeah, and I would think that your analogy is perfect. So, I think of rifle season or gun season, as you said, is Black Friday.
Yes,
the month from Thanksgiving to Christmas.
Yes.
You're just picking people off.
Yeah,
maybe that was a horrible analogy. You're picking
we lost
deer
our
off.
G rating.
You're picking deer off left and right.
Now it's going to have a graphic rating on it.
Yeah, or you're hitting a lot of that low-hanging fruit of moms walking in wanting to buy something the last second. But right now, this is the bow hunting mentality that,
you're just taking orders and writing tickets out.
Yeah, that's rifle season. So, but right now, people, you need to be looking at food plots. You need to be preparing your store. What are you doing? Are you thinking about a fall event? What are you going to do to get people into your store at the end of September into October 1st, and maybe get some of those early buyers? What are we doing to combat walking into your store versus people wanting to just buy online and they forget about your store? So these are the thoughts that I guess we need to be going down.
Yeah. I think I'm already, and we're going to talk about this right now, is I'm already thinking of fourth quarter when we're still finishing it up the third quarter. No, I'm not kicking the can down the road, so to speak. But like I said, a lot of times I'm thinking ahead as well. But fourth quarter is a time of year that we all need to take a look at. And we don't need to wait until, like you said, Black Friday. We need to start looking at it today. We need to start thinking about today, because there is thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars out there that disappear and they go into other avenues besides our music stores.
Yeah. So product-wise, what should music stores be thinking of, or music store owners be thinking of right now as far as product? Should they be pushing hard right now?
Well, the interesting thing is and I think there's a lot of people that forget that Christmas happens every year. It's on the calendar every year, and
my kids don't forget.
Well, they wake up. They wake up and go, "Oh no, it's Christmas time."
Yeah,
and so with product, you got to think about what happened last year and the year before and the year before. There's patterns there. Some things change. Sometimes it's later. Sometimes it's earlier. So there are a few patterns, but there's a lot of things that's consistent. Mom walk in all the time and go, "My son wants to play guitar. I want a strap pack, or I want an acoustic pack, or my son wants a drum set. Man, I don't know what to buy. What do you have?" So there's some things that happen all the time that a lot of our dealers don't think about. I mean, buying product when it's available is something that we overlook. Whether it's us or another manufacturer, they go, "Hey, we've got," say, strap packs. We've got strap packs, and that's a generic term. I mean, any brand. We've got these packs in. Get them right now before they're gone. Well, call me next month. And then we call them back, or we don't because we're busy doing other stuff. Then people call us and after Thanksgiving and go, "Hey, do you got any strap packs?" And they go, "Man, I called you 30 days ago." Well, I could sell 10 of them if you had them, or I could sell 20 of them if you had them. And it's like, well, why didn't you have them in your store before people asked.
Yeah.
Instead, we're waiting till they start asking, which is actually too late.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
When they are asking, you're missing out.
Yeah, and I've had several clients over the years that they started buying, educational guitars, Strat packs, things like that. They start buying them in July with the intentions that they're not even going to put them out on the floor.
They put them in the back, yes.
They put them in the back, and then they think about September 15th, October 1st. They put them out. They create displays. They move their store around, and they are thinking ahead. And now these are people that if I go back and reflect on, their music stores do a lot of business.
That's the difference. I mean, if you really think about it, we can actually take and talk to certain dealers, and we've talked about this before, and you can almost predict how their store is operated and it's run.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are thinking about it. The other ones are letting it happen to them, and then they complain and go, well, I've got guitars left over because I didn't sell them all at Christmas time. Well, next year, I'm not going to buy as much, or I'm going to wait even longer. And it's almost prophetic that their store does less and less and less money. And they blame it on the economy. They blame it on online. They blame it on competition. They blame, but they never look at themselves and go, why do I have these left over? What did I miss out on? Why didn't I get them earlier when people were asking, or before they were even asking? Because when someone comes in and asks for something, that you should say, yes, I have that. I have it over here. What color would you like? What style would you like? You should be actually getting it for them, not going, oh, let me call my guy Monday and see if I can get it in for you.
Yeah.
Because what happens is that person goes, I don't want to call you Monday.
Yeah. I came in to buy it now.
I want to buy it today. I don't have time Monday.
That's right.
And oh God, you going to ship it? Well, so I'm going to go buy it online. They could ship it to me too.
Yeah.
And then so you miss completely out of that sale. And then about the third time that happens, you go, well, I guess I better stock some stuff.
And that's exactly right. And I've had several clients over the years that have bought. They, we'll run some really great sales around Thanksgiving, because we're trying to help people as best we can. But what they do is they buy 20 or 30 of the same guitar thinking that they're going to sell those. And then I talked to them after January 1st, and I was like, how'd you do? And they're like, well, I sold half of what I bought. But the thing is it's not that they're not good at what they do. It's that they didn't start early enough. I think they needed to order those 30 guitars October 1st or September 15th and start selling those. They would have been gone and probably then ordered again and turned more.
It's kind of like buying day-old bread.
Yeah.
You can't expect it to last much longer. You better eat it now.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of our dealers, they have that mentality to where they come in and they just go, well, hey, man, I'm going to get this, and it's the shelf life isn't what you think it needs to be. But I mean, a lot of them need to look today. I mean, people will listen to this the 1st of September, so it's not even the fourth quarter. So they have, all of September to prepare.
Yeah.
And then we hit the fourth quarter, but they really, really need to project what they want Christmas to look like for them.
Yeah.
Again, we don't want Christmas to happen to those dealers. So a lot of people might listen to this and think we're being harsh or opinionated or whatever. No, it comes from Christmas happening every year and hearing the results and hearing the comments of dealers, either good or bad.
Yeah.
And what we want is we want all of our dealers, all of everybody's dealer to go, man, I had a great Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely.
And fourth quarter, not just Christmas.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And to go back to the analogy of bow hunting, maybe music stores, because I get it. Sometimes cash flow is a big deal, or you have employees, and so you have a little bit of drama in your store. But also at the same time, bow hunting, man, like I said, you're working on food plots in April, March and April. You're planting, you're cultivating, you're
when it's hot
ahead.
In July, I'm sweating like a dog, and I'm out there working.
That's exactly right. So, the question is what are music stores doing earlier on to kind of cultivate, to have that good fourth quarter? If money is always tight, should they be, setting aside a little bit of money every month, every week, so that then they can take that money and dump it into product in September so they're ready for fourth quarter? I mean...
Well, it comes down to planning, and everybody has their own method to be successful. Yeah. And for some, it might be putting a little money aside. Some of it might be evaluating the product. Some, who knows? For everybody, it's always a little bit different. But I know that the biggest thing that we have to do is we have to take action. We have to do something about it, because I don't have the stats in front of me, and maybe next time we do a podcast we can find it or get it. But I would like to know what the numbers are in the fourth quarter compared to 1, 2, and 3, because that's where a lot of our success comes from, and that's where we need to capture the most amount of money. Is if we have product in our store, it doesn't matter. We need to sell it. We need to get it out there. And the fourth quarter is a great time. It could be a product that's already paid for, and it's just sitting there, and it's not making you any money. Fourth quarter is something that we need to look at going, I have to get rid of this product. I've got to flush some of this stuff out because winter NAMM will be coming, and I got to buy more product. So a lot of this is a forecast. A lot of this is we need to think not only just this month, a month of September, but we also go, okay, it's September, and now I got to think about October, November, December.
That's right. That's exactly right. Now, I would think that people need to be thinking and brainstorming how can they be capturing some of these dollars going into fourth quarter. So you are still a big fan of doing layaways.
I am. It's kind of one of those things that it's kind of crazy, and sometimes I question my sanity when I say layaway. Because
it seems like an old term.
It does, and I don't think I'm that old, even though some days I feel that old. So something that's kind of affected layaways is credit cards, because a lot of people say, well, I don't need a layaway, I'll just charge it and get it today. But one thing that I want music stores in general to realize is having layaway is a tool. And that tool isn't just for you, but it's also for your customer. Because what I would do, and this is very strategic, is I would promote layaways because I would take people out of the market. Because if they came into my store, I would do whatever I needed to do to get that sale, because around me was competing music stores that if I let them go out that door, they weren't coming back. Everybody says, hey, I'll come back later. There's a percentage of them that do, but there's a big percentage of them that go to another place. And usually about the second or third time they feel comfortable, and then they make a purchase. So if somebody was just coming into my store and they're saying, hey, I just started looking, sometimes that's an uphill battle. So what I had to have is plenty of tools in my toolbox to get them out of the market right now. Because if I didn't, they were going to a competing store, and I was making it easy for them to purchase over there. And so with a layaway would be something that I would have a mom and a dad come in and say their son or daughter wanted a drum set. And they would come in and you show them all that. And there would be just a couple things that I would talk about that was more towards the parents than the purchase of the drum set. Sound off drum pads, because they're quiet. You can hit them, but they're rubber. You put them on the heads, and then they're quiet or quieter. And so I would always promote those, because mom's like, heck yeah, I'm buying those. And then another thing is like, hey, you can buy this today, or you could lay it away. If you want to pay for it, we can do that. Either way, if you want, I'll store it for you. And they go, what do you mean? Well, you may not want to take these big boxes home, because it might look like a drum set to your son who's asking for a drum set.
That's exactly right.
And then they go, really? Yeah, you could pay for it right now. I'd always promote pay for it all right now, because I want the money. Either way, I will keep it for you. So we could look at layaway as kind of a storage thing, because people say, well, I'm not getting the full payment ahead. No, you're not. But you're getting the payment. You're getting them in your store. They're buying there, and you took them out of the market. They didn't go to the competitor and buy. They're in your store.
What do you think is typically what's a smart amount of time for a layaway? Do you think, hey, make them do 3 payments, 2 payments?
Well,
I mean, what's smart?
I think, man, that's a good question. A lot of people, and I don't know if I really buy into this, I understand this, a lot of people would say half down and pay by Christmas, or whatever their method is. I would say, hey, put 25% down. And people would even question that, but a lot of people can afford 25% down.
Yeah.
Now, it may be non-refundable, or it may be 50% refundable. Whatever you have going on, each store needs to decide that. But if I can get 25% down, take that customer out of the market, I guarantee a sale, and then they come back and give me 25% more, say next month, and then they pay the balance before Christmas. Man, you guaranteed a sale.
Yeah,
you have cash flow. And man, you won. They didn't go to your competitor.
Yeah, and they keep coming back in every month.
You're the guy. You're the guy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So now some of these items, we might need to be strategic about that. If we're thinking about offering layaway as a tool, some of these a little bit more expensive items. I don't know. I'm sitting here thinking if I wanted to sell, $1,000 drum set or $1,500 or $1,000 guitar, I might need to be making sure I have some of these things in my store earlier on, so it gives them more time to be able to pay for it.
Well, I think as the months go, and I didn't break this down or even put a lot of thought into this. I think the different months might mean things differently. It might be October. You're selling a lot of high-end stuff, and especially if you do layaways, that's a great time to say you're a Taylor dealer. We just had Glenn in here, did a podcast and did an awesome job, and say it's Taylor, say it's their company, and the guitar is, say, $3,000. Well, that might be way above someone's wife comes in and go, my husband wants a Taylor. What do you have? And she's like, whoa, I want this one. This is the model. I love it. It's beautiful. But now that you have 3 months, you could lay it away and you could say, well, you could put half down.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, I can afford that, and then pay the rest off. But then the closer we get in, say, November or whatever, it might be like, what do you have that's under $1,000?
Yeah, sure.
And so sometimes there's a window there to where, a lot of people say, well, I'm only going to have the high-end stuff closer we get to Christmas. Well, it might be backwards. It might be you need to get it a little bit earlier so you can give time people to shop and pay for it.
Yeah, and I would think that when you equate that not low-hanging fruit, but people who are shopping at the last second, I would tend to think their mentality is I need to buy something cheaper.
I need to buy $500 or less.
Yeah,
I believe that. And I believe that to be true because it's more of an impulse buy at that point. They're walking in and they're just trying to find a guitar.
Yeah.
They're just trying to find a drum set. They're not actually shopping. They're actually just trying to buy something so they can go do something else. So if we have plenty of options in earlier, we can actually have somebody that has a little more time to shop, and they're more apt to listen to us. We can actually sell. We don't have to just go, well, here's our guitars under $500. Well, now we can show them guitars that are $1,000 or $1,500 because they may go, yeah, I can afford that.
Yeah. Okay. And another great tool for this time of year too would be price matching, but not just price matching for, hey, I'll match that price, but maybe you'll extend that period of time a little bit more, and that seems like a huge advantage to the consumer.
Yeah, and again, I wish I had more stats with this, but there's a psychological reason why people do a 30-day price match. How many times do you really go back to a store after you bought something and go, hey, I can buy it down the street for $5 cheaper? I look at it and go, I never even look at it.
Yeah.
I never even think about it. So what is wrong with maybe during that season that you price match for 90 days? I know it's crazy, and you may have to give a little bit of money back, but that means you sold something. That means you got money. And they didn't go to the competitor.
Yeah.
You got somebody in your store buying, and so you have to give a couple bucks back. But odds are you will never, ever have to use it. But what it does is it brings somebody in your store, and they feel secure. They're not waiting for Black Friday. How many times do you go, well, I'm gonna shop after Black Friday? That's something that the retail community has conditioned people to do, is start Christmas on Black Friday.
Yeah.
I've got relatives and family family members that after Thanksgiving they go out all night.
Oh, I know.
I mean, it's crazy. Not me. I'm thinking around, hey, I want another turkey sandwich.
Oh, that's exactly right.
You know what I mean? I'm not thinking about going shopping.
No way. I mean, it's funny. I know people that they go there. Yeah, well, and the Black Friday thing always starts now. It's like people are going at 11 o'clock at night on Thanksgiving Day.
Oh yeah, no. I mean last year at 5 o'clock, I think it was 5 o'clock. My sister and my niece and all that, they were going shopping.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's just, I don't know. It's crazy, but price matching would obviously be good. But I also think a great idea too is like if you price match, then what if you gave them back that difference in store credit?
That's a great idea.
Something like that. So now they got to come back and say, hey, we'll price match it for 90 days, but we'll give it back to you in store credit.
That's
if they get $10 or $15 back, they might come back and spend $30 to
or even $100,
or whatever.
If it's a big ticket item, that's a great idea. I've never thought about that. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah.
And again, it's all about making the customer feel secure when they come in to buy. They're not thinking about, well, I'm going to wait, because that's what you think. Because nobody likes making a large purchase and then see it on sale somewhere.
Absolutely.
And then they feel like they got screwed. Nobody likes that feeling. So if you can let them know, hey, I'll give it back to you. In the case that you said it was in merchandise, which is a great idea, they go, okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Well, now you're selling something in September or October. You're not waiting to hopefully then be in the market come the middle of November or December.
Yeah. No, and I think it's just it just helps people to potentially be they feel like you've got your back.
Yeah.
They like your store. They want to keep coming back. I think they feel like, hey, this is a cool place. They feel part of the community. So, but let's see. I think events are always good. Events seem to revolve around usually holidays, sometimes like that. Do you think music stores should be having specific events like an October 1st or in the middle of October or Halloween?
Yeah, I think they need. Yeah, I think they do. I mean, there's always these triggers that in retail we need to think about, and having events triggers behavior.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you can have a whatever you want to call it event, and it triggers people into purchasing. And if you do that before that Christmas mad rush, there's a lot of times where you can capture a lot of consumers. But yeah, triggering people and having events is always, it's just a great idea.
Well, obviously it works. Look at the rest of the retail world. I mean, there's a reason why everybody puts Christmas decorations out on November 1st now. It's because they want to trigger that, get people going.
Or July.
Hey, well, that's true. Or July. It's stupid. I don't know. Well, somebody will have Christmas decorations out like September 20th or something this year. But they're decorating their store, but it triggers the retail world is going. We need to start
mentality. Yeah,
that's exactly right. So,
well, and I think that's a good topic, because I think in the music industry that we predominantly talk about we're way behind the curve. But if you look at it in retail as a whole, they act and react so much faster than music stores or any.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I just think it's we have a very primitive thought process when it comes to music stores. We're behind in everything: technology, merchandising, everything you can think of. I don't know one category that we're ahead than the general population. And so what I think is that we need to look around. We need to look at, we go to any big store, whether it's Kohl's or Costco or Sam's Club or Walmart or wherever. We need to pay attention when we walk in there. Instead, we're going, I can't believe every year it gets earlier and earlier.
Yeah.
How many times do you hear that a year?
Oh, every year.
And it happens multiple times. But what I do is I walk in and I start thinking. I go, we're getting closer. I need to start thinking that way. Instead of thinking about, or complaining about what's going on and how it's getting earlier and earlier every year, I need to start thinking, oh man, it's time for me to get ready.
Yeah.
It's about ready to happen.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, again, it's going to happen to us. And then it's going to be late in the season. I don't have the product. I don't have the staff prepared. I have the store unprepared. I haven't really prepared everybody for the mad rush. The mad rush happens and we're going, oh my goodness, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then when we're done with it, we're going, oh my gosh, it was so busy today. I wish I would have had another person working today. Mm-hmm. I wish that and then there's this wish list that we have instead of look ahead and go, hey, I need to have an extra person on staff on Saturday. We need to work an extra hour on whatever. We need to extend our hours. We need to have this event. Mm-hmm. We need to merchandise differently. We need to break out the Christmas tree and the Christmas lights. We need to, there's tons of planning and preparing that we can do, again, to trigger people into what our expectations are. Yeah. Our expectations is to have a big Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously we get a lot of our emotions, or we'll let our emotions get in the way, like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that too early. When reality, it is okay.
Why does it matter if we do it too early? If it works and people buy and and good things happen, who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really matter if we put a Christmas tree out after Halloween.
Yeah, really.
I mean, seriously, it doesn't matter if we decorate our store and people go, well, is anybody going to walk in and go, oh, you guys are setting this up earlier and earlier every year? It's kind of that, what we talked about a minute ago.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
No.
I mean, be festive, be creative, be innovative, be that person where people want to go. Mm-hmm. They want to be in your store. They don't want to go to the competition because the competition's doing the same thing. Oh, I'll get guitars later. I'll get in those Christmas drum sets after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And and I think the mentality should be is how can I capture as many dollars as I possibly can as early as I possibly can. You have a window.
Yes, you have a window. And we're talking about Christmas, but we're talking about the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter.
Yeah, we're talking about, and I don't know the statistics, but if you break it down, that would be, say, 25%. But it may be 40% of your revenue for the year comes in the fourth quarter.
Oh, I think that's realistic.
Yeah, well, I think it's very realistic. But instead, and probably in most stores, in most retail, it's probably 60 or something even greater than that. But in the music stores, it's so much less because we're not prepared. We're not getting ready for it. The difference is in most of these big stores like Walmart and all that, they have a calendar that they go by.
Yeah.
We have to get this product out by this time. We've got to do this by this time. We've got to do that. They're very, very strategic. Mm-hmm. They have somebody that's their job.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? It works. And so why don't we think the same way?
Yeah, we should.
When we have a music store, why don't we act that way? Why don't we be that guy that walks in and go, hey, it may appear to be a little early, guys, but we're going to get festive.
Yeah, that's right. And if you're not doing that, that's a perfect thing for 2019 to be is you guys, you can sit down as a business owner and with your employees and start mapping out. There's nothing wrong with in January, February, putting down on your calendar, hey, by September 1st, we are going to have a plan in action to be ready for October 1st.
Absolutely.
So we've got to
again, it happens every year. Christmas is on the calendar every year.
Well,
I've not seen a calendar that doesn't have Christmas on it.
Forgot about Christmas again this year.
But I think a big takeaway is for a lot of us is to pay attention to the environment. When we go shopping and we go out into the market, to pay attention to what's going on around us so we can go, wow. So why do they do that? They do it because it works.
Yeah.
They put lights out. They do a lot of this stuff. Why? Because it triggers people and it creates activity. We always want to be the last one. We want to stand our ground and we want to do all this, but at the end of the day, we're losing money.
Yeah.
We're losing people come in. And so a stat that you told me earlier that this could be, or it will be, and you can clarify, that online does more business than offline
this year.
This year
is the first year.
So what is it, like 51-49 or something like that?
Last year, I think it was like right around 52.5 and 47.5. Offline being the 52.5. This year, it's going to flip in the music retail industry.
And we got to ask ourselves, why does that happen? A part of it is because, not all of it, but a part of it is because people want to shop earlier. Or people wanted to buy earlier.
Yeah.
They could buy whenever they want.
Yeah.
Because somebody's ready online.
That's exactly right.
You could go online and somebody has that product.
Absolutely. My wife, if she sees a great deal on something that one of my children want, she will buy it in August or September and then put it away in the closet. And it's a great deal. And sometimes it's always every year she'll be like, well, we're talking about Christmas presents and what do we have? And I'll be like, when did you buy that? She's like, well, remember the deal I bought back in August? Wow. I was like, that's right. We talked about it back then. Yeah. Because it was an amazing deal on something. So those retailers were obviously thinking of something ahead of time, sparking some of that interest. But
you're right. You're right. I mean, I really, really think that we need to pay attention.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to pay attention to all of the retail stores around us, and instead of being so late, we need to be in line with them.
Yeah,
I think it'll make a big difference.
Yeah, I think so. And so, one of the things I think we can kind of wind down what we're saying is if we are flipping that, the numbers are flipping. There's going to be more online sold this year than offline. What are our music stores doing to combat that? How are we going to get more people to walk into our stores? But still, obviously, we're in a world that we have to embrace that. Music stores have to embrace that. They still should have an online presence.
Yeah.
But they still need to be thinking, how can I get more people in my store? And by doing that, you have to be ready ahead of time, I think, is part of the key.
I think it's a huge part. I mean, I think that's part of the reason why people go online and buy, because they can buy whenever.
Yeah.
They don't have to wait for a music store to finally get their Christmas stock in, because it's too late.
Yeah.
And like I said, and I've brought this up, but working retail in Arizona where it's hot, it is so hot out there. I mean, in July and August, we were planning for the fall.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 5-6 months away. We were scheduling shipments a couple months away, but we started, and I don't remember exactly, but probably middle September to 1st of October is when we kicked it in.
Yeah.
We didn't wait until Black Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, by Black Friday, we were humming. But by then we're in that mode of selling. Our staff was prepared and conditioned and ready. We knew what was going on. We had product. We reordered. We were on our game. And that's a big part of today is when you get your inventory that late, you have no chance to reorder product because you've sold it and done well. That's all you're going to sell. Mm-hmm. And when you start earlier and you prepare and condition people for it, like every other retail store out there, I'm kind of beating a dead horse with that, but I want our dealers to realize that these other dealers or these other retail stores are doing it because it works.
Yeah.
They're doing it because it's effective. And if you want to order and then reorder, you got to start earlier. You cannot wait until the 9th hour. You cannot wait. You've got to do it now. You've got to prepare. You got to condition everybody. You've got to get the momentum going. Either that or you're going to sit there and go, man, next year, and we hear this every year, and it's sad. Next year, I'm going to start earlier.
Yeah.
And it bums me out because I look and I go, man, you guys missed out on a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
You missed out on a lot of money. I hear that every year. Every single year I hear dealers say that, and it bums me out. Man, next year I'm going to start earlier.
Yep.
And I'm like going, it bums me out.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is we have dealers, and this is a bright spot. We have a lot of dealers that have learned from it. And so, like you brought up, guys buying strap packs again early because they know we're going to run out.
Yeah.
They know that other manufacturers are going to run out. A lot of people.
That's a great point.
A lot of people go, Well, and this is another thing that's kind of bums me out is a certain time of the year when they haven't even bought for Christmas or the fourth quarter, they go, man, what do you got? I just need guitars.
I need something.
Yeah. And I'm like, so now you're just buying something to get into your store.
Yeah.
You're not even thinking about what sells, what price point, anything. You're just saying, I just need guitars.
Yeah. And a good litmus test, I think, is this episode is going to come out after Labor Day. After
Yes.
Labor Day. So if you're listening to this and you now realize that you did not do some kind of an event for Labor Day weekend to kick off, that buying habits going into fourth quarter, then you need to use that as a check going, okay, I need to do more than what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, and it's also, and I, sometimes I wrestle with it. Maybe we're doing this earlier than we should, but it's not.
No.
The timing is perfect because somebody can listen to this and it can get with them and them. They go, man, I need to do something. I need to be more active. I need to prepare because you're right. I just kind of, every year I'm that guy. Well, this is a great time. We have time. Don't wait too long. We have time to start planning for the fall and get this stuff going. You got to get going. You've got to get your staff ready. You got to get your store ready. You've got to come up with a fourth quarter plan.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't want anybody to say, man, next year I'm going to start earlier.
Yeah.
We're starting earlier with this. We're letting people know it's time to get on it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that people can be doing. I mean, if you've got Facebook pages and Instagram or any of these social medias, man, start now with videos and messages, putting it out there and kind of seeding the market, so to speak, to go back to that, the bow hunting analogy. And I'm telling you, it'll work. People respond to that kind of stuff. But the thing is you have to start doing it now. You
Correct.
can't wait until it's November 15th and go, well, I guess maybe I need to start thinking like that. It's too late.
I agree.
So,
well, I think we've probably made a few people upset, and we probably bored a few people, but I think I'm good.
That's right. Well, we feel good about ourselves.
I think I do.
Or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, man, it's a good episode. So, and hey, we always like feedback. So if anybody has any feedback, remember, it's themusicretailshow@gmail.com. Man, email some great ideas. Maybe we'll talk about on the next episode.
Sure, that'd be great.
Because this is a part of creating a community where people can listen and learn. So
awesome.
Anyways, man, all right, good episode.